Hi, it's Coach Maggie, and we are ready for session 2. I hope you took time the last few days or last week to really dive into figuring out what it is that's going to energize you. What are the things that just seem to help you realize that you can truly be your best self? Self-care is so important. If you're not taking time to fill yourself, then you are running on empty and you have nothing to give to those around you. That seems to be a real problem, and especially for women. So I want you to make sure that you continue over the course of the weeks to come and really forever making time for yourself. Now, it's really important. I've asked you to choose 2 things, and I want you to be very specific. So, for example, if you've decided that you're going to go get a manicure or a pedicure, when are you going to do it? Commit to a time, a day, and a frequency. Maybe you're going to do it once a month, maybe every other month. That part is so key because if you just say, I'm going to start doing it, more than likely it won't happen. I was talking with a friend just yesterday, and she said that she'd been really wanting to start painting classes. Her mother recently died, and her mother was quite the artist. And she had hoped at some point that maybe they would do that together. And that had been the mother's desire too. But my friend was always really busy. And so it's been a month or two since her mom passed away. And so she really felt that yearning inside of her to actually follow through and start taking those painting classes. Well, she kept saying she was going to, and then she realized what she needed to do was to actually sign up for a class. And so that's what she did. She's paid, it's a set time, a set day, and now she's following through. So what is it that's going to take for you to follow through on the things that you are thinking? Okay, so that's one of the easiest things. I know for me personally, I like to go get a massage. And the place where I go, they have a sauna. And that's quite a treat to go into this steam sauna and just relax and sweat and get all those toxins out. And I know a lot of times when I go, they usually try to book my appointment for the next time. And of course, that's great business on their part because they want you coming back. And I always find an excuse. And because of that, I don't go regularly. But I've realized that that's something that I need to start doing. That immediately after, when I'm paying, I need to schedule my appointment for the next time. So, what is it going to take for you to start following through and take better care of yourself? Another thing I want to mention is the importance of a positive mindset. You know, that's been a buzzword for several years, but it's more than just a buzzword, it's so critical. How we think determines our actions. When we go into anything, whether it's getting healthy, getting on a budget, whatever it is, starting exercising, if we go into it saying things like, this isn't going to work, I don't know why I'm doing this is a waste of money. If we're thinking those thoughts, then they're going to come true and it's going to be a waste of money. But the fact is, a lot of times we self-sabotage ourselves by being negative. So I want you to get rid of any of those thoughts of, here we go again, you know, this didn't work last time. Why do I keep trying? It's too hard. The more we say those negative things, those things come true. But let's reframe it and let's start saying, this is a new adventure. This time it is going to work. This time I'm going to follow through. This time I'm going to do whatever it takes. And if I fall, when I fall, I'm going to get back up more determined than ever to keep going. So let's get into it on session 2 as we talk about food and how it matters. So I want to go ahead and share my first screen with you. And it is all about food. So let's go ahead and get started because again, this is definitely part of our blueprint. So let's go ahead and think about food. Now look at this salad. It looks delicious. But again, if you're not used to eating this way, you may say, oh, I'm not sure if I like that. I like to think of salads similar to going to, well, a salad bar and actually healthy eating like a salad bar. There will be maybe 20, 30 items on a salad bar. They're not expecting you to pick every single one. So it's a matter of choosing the things that you like. And then along the way, begin experimenting. Too many people get stuck in a rut, and in their mind, healthy eating is so hard and it's boring. But it's only boring if you don't push the envelope, if you don't really push yourself to be willing to try things. Now, in this week's handouts, I asked the questions. How many portions of meat are you eating a day? Vegetables, fruit, all of those different things, portions of grain. You know, this is interesting. I was working with a client recently, and when I gave her this, she said it was really eye-opening because in her mind, she thought she ate a lot better than she actually did. And I would definitely say that most people are that way. When asked, we say, yeah, I eat pretty healthy. Yeah, I eat fruits and vegetables. But if we have to get specific, suddenly it's like, well, actually, you know, there are days when I can honestly say I get to the end of the day and I realize I was lucky if I had maybe one or two. So that's why this is important. Now, I want to take this time to make a suggestion that you start keeping track of the foods you're eating. And this is really beneficial for several reasons. First of all, it'll be help you to be more conscious of what you're eating, and it helps you to know when you fixed certain things. As a matter of fact, I've gotten out of the habit of doing this and just realized the other day that I need to start up again because I was pulling leftovers out and I found myself thinking, when did I fix this? When you're keeping track, you'll know exactly when you prepared different foods. Another reason it's really helpful is because, for example, certain foods, and we're going to talk more about that, make you feel a certain way. When you wake up, for example, one morning and you feel maybe more achy than usual, or maybe you wake up and you're extremely tired, maybe you just feel not, you just don't feel well. Something seems a little different. What I like to do is think back, what did I eat yesterday? Because again, often we don't make those connections that food does matter. So I want you to get into the habit. It can be as simple or as, complicated as you want to make it. One of the things you can do is on the kitchen calendar, simply jot down a B for breakfast. What did you have? Jot it down. Lunch, what did you have? Dinner, what did you have? Snacks, how much water are you drinking? Those are things that when you have to put it, again, two things. It helps you to be accountable, but it helps you to be aware that you're having to jot down, ooh, I had that and I really shouldn't have had it. I know many times it stopped me from going for that second handful of whatever it is. So again, something just to keep in mind, so very important. So again, if you haven't taken the time, do that and keep track of the things that you're eating. Maybe, for example, you're eating more meat than you should. That's one of the things, and especially our American diet, we eat entirely too much meat. We hear a lot about the importance of protein, but you don't have to eat animal meat for you to get protein. So make sure that you're keeping track of that. Also, I asked about your specific vegetables that you really like. Again, this same friend that I was working with when she started jotting down, she realized there were a lot of vegetables that she liked, yet they weren't ones that she was preparing. She found herself thinking, oh, I don't really like cooking. It's just a single person, so she often doesn't feel the urge to cook. But she listed, tens, or 20 different vegetables, but she wasn't preparing them. So that was a good reminder for her to say, I like those certain foods. I need to be preparing them. All right. Food can be and should be our medicine. Unfortunately, it can also be harmful. So again, we see, these beautiful things here. And again, if you're not used to eating this way, it's easy to go, well, I wouldn't fix that. But again, you want to be as colorful as possible. The different pigments in fruits and vegetables do different things. And they just feed feed you with nutrients. And especially when you get into the very brilliant colors, the purples, the reds, the vibrant greens, even the yellows, they all do different things. So a lot of times you will hear people say, eat the rainbow. They're just saying, get all of the colors in. It makes such a difference in how you feel. So again, also in that food diary, I like to put the time that I wake up. So I get up, somewhere between 5:30 and 6. And so because I'm eating more and more vegetables, I find I don't even need the alarm clock. I just seem to wake up naturally. And of course, let's face it, it's a lot easier when the sun is shining outside. But again, the things that you eat make a difference in how you feel, the energy that you have waking up and throughout the day. Are you feeling sluggish in the middle of the day? Do you get to 2 or 3 o'clock and find yourself thinking, I'm tired, I need a nap? It has a lot to do with what you're eating, or more importantly, what you're not eating. So again, such a variety of different things that you can do. There's some kiwi, it looks like some granola, very, very healthy, some different types of currants, and probably on some type of like a yogurt or porridge of some type. So again, we need these types of food in a variety to basically help our body replenish. These are the things that are going to get us, that are going to fuel our body and give you the energy that you need. The elements around us, the pollution, just all of those things, stress, they deplete the body. And so food is our medicine. Food should definitely be. But again, we need to be eating as close to the natural form as possible. So when you're eating something, it should be something that's recognizable. How much processing goes into things that end up being fried and prepared in all these different ways, and things that can last on a shelf for days, weeks, months, years. So again, we want fresh and we want in season. Whatever season that you're in right now, begin eating the foods that are available right now. There's several reasons. First of all, they cost a lot less money when you're buying seasonal foods. They're readily available, so they're inexpensive, they're fresh. More than likely, you can get them in your particular local area, and they're healthier. Things are a lot healthier when you can get them readily in your area versus them being shipped either by air or trucked cross country. So again, try to make sure that you are eating those foods. Your body is really thrives on that and is hungry for those particular foods. So make sure you're going for those types of things. Now, I said food can be medicine, but unfortunately, food can also be poison. And so much of our diet today is fried is processed and filled with terrible trans fats and all these things, fake sugars, processed sugar, things that are refined, things that last. They don't cost the manufacturers a lot of money, but they are costing your body, your strength. They're destroying you. And there's so many illnesses and chronic diseases that are directly connected to the standard American diet. So let's look at this picture. This is what a typical maybe lunch out or an evening out you're often going to order. But let's see if we can think of some things that we could do to improve upon it. I like to make home fries at home. And again, I just simply take like a russet potato. I've even done it with sweet potatoes, which is delicious. And usually what I'll do is I will slice them or do what they did and make like a fry. And I will actually take it, pat it, and then I will put it in ice water and put ice cubes on top, put it in the refrigerator, and it pulls some of the starch out of the potatoes. Then I pull it out, pat it dry. We've got a nice hot oven. I take some coconut oil, and then I actually melt it, drizzle it on the potatoes, put it in a hot oven, season it with all kinds of wonderful salt and pepper and herbs, and you'll have some amazing home fries that are healthy and so much better than these that are deep fried and they're using that oil over and over and over. Okay, you've got a burger there. Same thing. Always go for the cleanest meat possible. Try to find organic. In this case, grass-fed and finished. A lot of times you'll see grass-fed. Well, most cows graze on grass, but often the last months or so, they will suddenly be fed more of a corn diet. And cows should never be eating that. And so you want grass-fed and finished. And so go for the leanest meat possible. Sometimes I will do a combination of grass-fed beef and lamb, and the same thing. And it makes a very nice, tender burger. And lamb has some things in its nutrients that are more beneficial than beef. And so it's a good combination. All right. Again, I don't do dairy, so I personally don't do cheese, but this is definitely the sliced cheese. So I would avoid that for sure. I don't usually do a lot of bread, so I would personally would not do a bun. But again, if you're going to try to find a very wholesome wheat bun and not one that would probably last you a few months sitting on the counter, okay? It also looks like they've maybe got like a relish or some barbecue sauces. There are ones that you can find with the fewest ingredients possible. You can also make your own. It's really pretty simple. So again, there are ways that you can still enjoy some of these foods, but again, you're doing it differently. They do have some nice lettuce, tomato. I would put grilled onions on there. You might like mushrooms on there. Maybe do turkey bacon instead of pork bacon. And so there are ways. It does take planning, but it's so much healthier. So again, consider doing that. Your body will thank you. And this is really important because again, this isn't just about you. If you have a family, this is about changing really the dynamics of your family. So many of today's children are obese, are suffering from so many diseases that years ago you would never see children have. But again, it's because of our diet. So it's so very important. And last, again, like I said, when we want to choose to go with animal proteins, make sure that you're going with ones without harmful chemicals, antibiotics, hormones. The same with eggs. You want them to be free range, and try to find local sources in your particular area. That's one of the best things that you can do. It helps with the economy where you're living, and it helps local vendors. But again, you can find out what they're using, and it is so much healthier, and it gives you better options. The other thing is, consider having at least a few nights, and if you need to, start with one, but where you're choosing not to have meat. A lot of times you'll hear people talk about Meatless Monday. And I've done that for years. And that's a great night to just do other types of things, like bean burritos instead of a meat taco, or enchiladas without the meat. You know, there's so many different things that you can do. Vegetable soups and casseroles. So there are a lot of options. Fried rice with tons of vegetables, a stir fry, but just no meat. So again, I know a lot of times I've worked with women and they said, there's no way my husband will do that. But you would be surprised. Again, just try introducing it, maybe just once a month or once a week, and then just going from there. Big salads with tons of different toppings. That's another excellent way to go. But again, it isn't something that you can do overnight, but you would be surprised. A lot of times families really begin to get on board, especially if you start sharing that you're feeling better because you're eating healthier. Even if you decide to prepare these foods, but if you start deciding, I'm going to go ahead and fix meat for my family, but I'm not going to have any tonight. And then you start feeling better. You are more mentally clear on things. You're feeling better. You have more energy. Your family is going to start to notice. And that's often when things start to change. It's happened with me personally. I've seen it happen time and time again. Once we make that decision, then often others come on board. I've seen it even happen at work, where I was bringing salads and bringing healthy things. And when people start feeling bad, start, being faced with some sickness, go to the doctor and they get a bad report, they're putting weight on and they're trying to get it off and it's not working. It's amazing. They start coming to you and asking what you're doing. People will notice, even if at first you don't think so. So food is so very important. In the handouts, I've also included some of the foods to really work into your weekly diet, as well as those to avoid. Again, this isn't something that you can do overnight. And again, depending on where you're at in your family, you may have to move very slowly. For some, everyone's on board. And for you, it may be, let's just do it cold turkey. You have to decide that. But again, be patient with yourself. It took you time to get to the place you're at, and it's going to take you time to fix things. So I want you to be patient. And again, pull that blueprint out, because I want you to think of 2 things that you're going to start doing. So whatever it is, maybe you're going to cut out the pop, then, or add more water. Because again, a lot of times when you take away something, consider adding something as a replacement, even though they are not maybe considered equal. So for example, if you realize, oh my goodness, I drink way too much pop or too much coffee, maybe you want to swap out, and maybe you drink 3 or 4 cups a day. Maybe you want to reduce that to 2 a day or 1, and maybe start adding hot tea or something else. Maybe you're a pop drinker, and again, you don't want to go cold turkey, but maybe you want to cut it in half and start drinking more water and adding lemon or mint or something to your water. So think of ways that you can swap out things, because it makes it a lot easier. If you need ideas, suggestions, please go to my website, Coach Maggie for Health, or message me on Facebook. Also, I have my Healthy Living Made Easy Facebook group. It's for women only so that we are free to share and ask those hard questions. You can go to my Coach Maggie website and then go there to join. And so I'm excited that, again, you are willing to invest in yourself. This is a challenge. It is not necessarily going to be easy, depending on where you're at and where you're trying to go. But again, we are building a framework. We're taking and putting down our pillars, making that foundation so that we can start to build the life that we want. You can do this. There's no doubt in my mind. And I've helped lots of people on this journey. So, all right, do your homework, go over your resources, and again, keep that blueprint handy, continue with the self-care, and I will see you next time as we start talking about movement and exercise. Have a great day, great week, take care, and I'm praying for you.